highlights channel of the Ranveer Show. This is TRS Clips.
There are methods that you can invest in real estate if you have zero money, no money. Okay.
In Canada?
Everywhere in the world.
Really?
Yes. Even in India. Yes.
Okay.
So of the 77, I would say closer to 65 to 70, because I didn't have money to buy 77 or sell 77 properties. Okay. Most of that happened because I learned how to do it. Then I put it into practice in there. And that happened in Toronto area or Ontario. And this is what I've been teaching people actually for the last 18 years, how to do that in anywhere in the world. And the first thing that people say, not in my country. It's not possible. I went to Lithuania, Riga, other parts of Europe, USA, Canada, India, because we started our club last year in India in 2022. People say, no, it's not possible here, but it happens in every business, every country. Laws are slightly different. Legalities are different. Accounting system is slightly different, but it's doable as long as it's a free society that you're allowed to own properties. As long as the laws allow that, then yes, you can do it. There are some countries, they don't allow it, that they won't work there.
But how? Was it the same core mentalities that got you success as an officer?
I think you don't have to be an officer. You don't have to be a detective. I don't think you have to do any of that to do that. There is a added benefit. And I would say the added benefit, one of the main added benefits is when somebody says, I want this, they're immediately hit by fear. Fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of success, fear of everything. What if it doesn't work out? I'm going to lose money. What do people say? People are going to laugh at me, blah, blah, blah. So the policing definitely got me to say, get out of my way. That's where I'm going. So either you move out of my way or I'll find a way to get there. Whereas the regular people a lot of times say, I promise you, I want to do this. I want to become big. I want to change the world. I want to make $1 million or whatever it is. And the next moment they'll say, not today, some other day. The biggest virus on the planet, 100 times worse than COVID for entrepreneurs are two. One, I'll do it some other day. I'll do it some other day. Two, I can't afford it. I can't afford it. And for me, when I come to a fear, I feel the fear, but then the difference is I do it. So that's the number one lesson is that, like, hey, if you're going to do something, you're going to say you want to do something, law of attraction is how you attract things into your life. Taking immediate action is how you get it. So you may attract the right person into your life today, but to do business with them, you have to take some action. You got to do something about it. Don't be sitting there, oh God, give me $1 million, give me $1 million, give me $1 million. Oh, there's $1 million. It doesn't work that way. But God might put you into a situation where you could make $1 million with that partnership or collaboration, right? But then as soon as that opportunity comes, what do? Do you back out? Do you say, I'll do it some other day? This is not a good time. So that's a big benefit that I had from policing, which is absolutely learnable. The learnable asset that you could have is to do the shit that you're scared of.
Where your fear is, there lies your task.
That's right. And be scared, but do it. And it'll be the best university. And even if you do it and you fail, that's better than not doing it and passing. Okay? And then that's basic. So a lot of people, so that's one. The other part was the negotiation aspect. See, in a real estate, if I go to you and say, how much is this house? And let's say dollars. We say this house or this property is $100,000. And I say, I'll buy it for 20% below market value. There's a negotiation aspect of it. So the funnel that requires to get there. Then finding the motivated seller who has to sell, not wants to sell. Then sitting with them and have the empathy for them, building relationship with them, and then showing them the benefit that they have by selling me the property at a discount. Okay, that is the turning point. Then once you have that property, then you say, okay, that's great, Sunil, but I got no money. I have zero money. I just committed to buying $100,000. So let's say you have no friends, you have no money, your credit is bad, you have a bad credit, you just got bankrupt yesterday. Okay. One of the ways that you would do that deal is that you would find a partner. Simple. Now, the biggest business show on TV all over the world is Shark Tank. Okay. So what happens in Shark Tank? You got sharks that are sitting there. You have somebody that comes up with an idea. The guy who comes up with an idea says, I have an idea. Could you invest all the money? In real estate, it's even better. In real estate, I come up with a plan and say, this house is worth $100,000. I got it for $80,000. I need $80,000 from you. And then I'll give you 50% of the profits. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this house. I'm going to invest $10,000. And when I invest $10,000, it's going to be worth $120,000. Okay? And within 6 months, you're going to get 30% ROI. So that is a starting point of collaboration. In real estate, they say joint venture partnerships, and all that. So that became my aha moment, that you need money. You don't need your money. You don't need your money.
To begin.
To even do it today.
Really?
Yes, because here's the thing. I've noticed, I was talking to Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And he said he's $1.2 billion in debt. Yet he's the richest, one of the richest guys in the world. And let's say you have $1 million today. And let's say you need 20% down, and let's say you have good credit, and you can buy 5 properties, 20% down, 200,000, 5, to make it easy, because I know there's closing costs and all that stuff. But make it easy, you can buy 5. Or you can buy $1 million house, 1, by yourself. So that somebody's going to say, I'll buy $1 million cash. So now that house is theirs. Or somebody's going to say, I'll buy 5 of them using the same $1 million. But what if you want to be multimillionaire? This would then stop you right there. So what you're going to do is you go to somebody, let's say like me, an investor, and say, okay, I can find great deals. I can get you good returns, blah, blah, blah. Okay. What if I lend you like $10 million, which you didn't have? Okay. What if I lend you $100 million? So money is all about leverage. Business is about leverage. Business is about leverage. Right now, we're doing this. This is leverage. We have wonderful people behind the scenes. That's a leverage.
Like an advantage, a weapon.
Yeah, it's a leverage, meaning you have, let's say instead of 2 hands, now you got 4 hands. We have a few people here. Now we have 10 hands. So if you wanted to lift, 10 buckets, you can take 2 buckets back and forth yourself. Yeah, at a time, let's say. But if you had 10 people, they would have taken it at the same time, and then they all get a little cut from it. That's what employment is actually, by the way. Your employees are your partners, really, who get a little cut from the profits that you make. So in business and real estate, people understand leverage because, okay, I want to buy this house. I'm going to put this much money, and then I'm going to go to the bank, and the bank's going to leverage the money to give me the loan, so then I can now live in that house. That's basically the leverage. Beyond that is, what if you don't need a bank? What if there are investors who have no time, but they have lots of money and they hate working with, they invested enough money in stocks, mutual funds, and they're like, okay, we have several $1 million. And the beautiful thing about real estate is very simple. I can go to an investor and say, here's the property. Here's the picture. Here's the location. Here's the valuation in advance. Okay. Here's what I'm going to do. Here's who I am. And you take no risk or very little risk. Because every business, everything has a risk. Whereas if you do what Shark Tank do, there's a big risk. It's an idea. If it sells, that's great. So learning the art of that, how to present an information package to an investor in a way that the investor himself says, wow, I want to put money into this. And what's the question? Number one thing is, how's my money safe? And your money is safe because you can put a lien on the property. So if I do anything wrong, you get a property that's worth more than what you're putting the money in. That's the essence of it.
How can people fail in this? I love this, by the way, because you did, like you explained it in detail, and this is sort of a version of what you did in that 1 year.
Correct. And there's more strategies that I used.
And you said there's an art of selling it to investors. I'm sure that's where the nuances are.
Correct. The first thing to understand is the investor is okay. You take the psychology of building a relationship. That's there. That has to be there. But at the end of the day, the way to grow is not to do what our parents have told us to do, which was don't talk to strangers. Everything we want, we have to talk to strangers. And once strangers become our friends, then it's easier to raise more money, simply. But let's say you have no friends and all like that. And how did I do that with that? So the investor package, for example, will consist of, let's say, a photo and the address, right? So I can go on the internet right now and say, where's this property? I can have somebody, my agent, look at it and say, yes, this is number two. It will have, in Canada and the United States, it's very easy to get what we call is sold comps, sold comparables. So in that area, if we're in this building right now, if the apartment down below you was sold for a certain amount of money and is similar, let's say, in nature, then we know this apartment would be similar. So that's how we prove the value. Of course, we can always prove the value by a proper professional appraisal. Okay, just like the banks do. So now we got the photo address. Now we got the valuation. So then the investor is like, okay, it's worth $1 million. Then you have an agreement that says, I'm buying it for $800,000, which is 20% discount. You actually show the agreement. In the agreement, it says that I am allowed to either do partnership with my partner, or I'm allowed to assign the deal, assign the property to somebody else. An assignment is simply taking a contract, which happens in India as well, and you flip the contract. So if I bought it for $800,000, I sell it to you for $850 because it's still a good deal. Okay, you're making $150,000, I'm making $50,000. So that's a second. So first was joint venture partnership. Second is what we call it, assignment. Assignment basically means selling the contract that you have the right to. Okay, so in this case, when you are showing them, is there an assignment clause? When is the date, so they can see the agreement. Then you show that I'm buying it for this much, and then you show the numbers. Okay, numbers. I'm going to take this property. This property requires $50,000 of upgrades. Okay, so I bought it for $800,000. It requires $50,000 upgrade, and when I upgrade it, ARV, after repair value, can be $1.1 million. Why? Because when I upgrade the property, maybe the washrooms are going to be a little bit better. The kitchen will have a better countertop. Maybe I'll paint the whole place. Maybe make it look like really nice. And when maybe the flooring can change, carpets can change. So we do things that doesn't require us a lot of money, but it elevates the value of the property. Okay? So once we do that, so we show the investor that this is what I'm going to be doing. The next thing I show them is that I will be doing 99% of the work. You will be sitting home if you want to, or you can show up anytime you want. Don't have to do any work. So doctors, engineers, professionals, people with money, they're like, I'm too busy for this, but I love making 20, 30%. Okay. So now investor package doesn't say, here's the property, I'm putting no money, and I'm taking half. That's one way of saying it. The way to say it is, here's the property, I've invested so much time, energy to get this property and negotiate a good deal. Once I've negotiated a good deal, then I'm going to oversee all the work, and then I'm going to flip it for this price. And look, let me show you the pro forma, the business numbers. At the end, we're going to make this much money, okay? And I'm going to make $200,000 on this. Of the $200,000, you will make $100,000, which means your ROI is this much without doing any work. And I cannot run away with your property.
And there's a version of this business model in every country.
That's right. Every country that allows buying and selling of real estate. Because there are countries that you cannot legally own properties.
Like North Korea?
Could be, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and maybe in Russia and some other places. And up to a certain point, even it used to be in UAE before and all that stuff. And there's some places there's leasehold properties versus you actually owning it. So it may not work with that one with the leasehold. Then maybe sometimes you have to be the resident of the countries and all that. But I would say 90% of the planet, you should be able to do this because it works everywhere. And the proof is Shark Tank India, which was obviously my friend, Kevin Harrington, who is a billionaire from Shark Tank in US. He was talking about how they started with small thing and then the Shark Tank itself exploded. Now, when I was talking to Aman Gupta, he said they never thought Shark Tank India would be as big as it is. What that means is that this stuff works. So instead of having an idea and money, combine it together, beautiful deal. So the biggest point here is this. What would you do, say, how would you act? What kind of confidence would you have when you were walking around with $10 million in your pocket when you have no money? What would you do? So I teach people, walk into the room if you have $10 million, if you have no money. And walk in there knowing somebody has your $10 million if you have a good deal.
Effectively, you're teaching them to be a part of the team, yes, but you're also teaching them how to be that best ever hustling teammate.
Of course.
And then the art of hustling in the domain of making money from real estate is what they learn from you.
Correct.
And you've given a very kind of broad gist of it right now.
Yes.
And I know that in order to deep dive, we're going to have to probably do another 3-hour podcast with you.
Start with my books.
Yeah, fair.
Start with
very
my books.
cool. Very cool. We've not had too many guests on the show as honest as you.
Thank you.
That's what I'll say, sir. So these are playlists made especially for you. We've tailor-made learning experiences for you. The RAAAZ clips.